So today's lesson comes from the Moral Letters of Seneca. So this is my copy of Seneca's Moral Letters. It's a Dover edition. It's a Dover thrift edition. How much did I pay for this thing? There. $10. $10 US. I know it's also quite old, but trusty. Anyways, this thing, chock full of highlights and notes everywhere. I love this book. It really inspired me to write my first one. So one of three ancient texts that I recommend for anyone who's into Stoicism. Today we're dealing with 108, 35 to 38. Yes, I do know this by heart. Test me. I'm kidding. I don't know this by heart. Can you imagine all that? Okay, sorry. I digress. Many words have been spoken by Plato, Zeno, Chrysippus, Posidonius, and by a whole host of equally excellent Stoics. I'll tell you how people can prove their words to be their own by putting into practice what they've been preaching. And that's what I'm doing here today, my friends. I am an agent of positive change. I have taken a stance about 5 years ago to try and lead by example, not by preaching, not by forcing, of course, but just by showing, which is why my philosophy, everything from my vegetarian veganism to my books, more academic stuff, I always stand by the adage of this is my choice. This is my choice, and I don't push it on anyone. And I think everybody should adapt a little bit of that these days. I think we have a lot of, hey, you should adapt to my opinion, or we hate each other type of thing, which is, you'll remember chapter 12 from my first book, Your User's Manual, love thy neighbor. And in chapter 13, I think, definitely love thy neighbor. Okay, back to the lesson. I am an agent for positive change. I started with my immediate surroundings, which encouraged me to write my first book. I wrote the first book to kind of put it out there in the universe. And lo and behold, it got a little success. So I wrote the second, I wrote the third, podcast came along, the articles. So where we are today with this transition I'm going through, it's just a natural progression from my perspective. This is now a platform where I can just share my life exactly the way I live my life. I have nothing to hide. I am a fairly well-established person in the human community and society. From my perspective, I'm not looking for anything more, right? Poor is not the man who has little, but poor is the man who doesn't have enough. But I digress as usual. I love talking about this stuff. So my point is, I am excited to be putting myself out there, hopefully, through the interactions with my followers, listeners, readers. We can have a conversation. Let's get a conversation going. Others will maybe learn from us. We will learn from the conversation. I learn every time I interact with you guys. So I'm very excited for this next phase of Anderson Silver. Stoicism for a Better Life continues. This is officially episode 2 of season 4, although presumably season 4 will go on for a long time instead of just 20 episodes under this new format. And I'm also going to be probably starting a Dear Anderson thing on the side. I'll talk more about that in a future episode. Very excited. Very, very excited. Already in the first few days, I've been getting 4, 5, 6 comments every day. That's awesome. I mean, I was hoping to get 1 per day or average 1 per day, and then I would have been happy with that. But you guys are awesome. I hope to get in touch with more of you. And I guess that's the lesson for the day. Follow the example of your good old pal, uncle, friend, whatever you consider me, your good old pal, Anderson. Follow my example. Do something that you've thought about for a long time and you just never did because you felt you weren't in the right place at the right time, you weren't prepared, or whatever it may be. Put something into practice. Why not? That's the exercise for this week. No matter how small, just make sure, write down in your journal what it is and execute it. You'll feel so much better. I guarantee it. So, this is your old pal Anderson reminding you that we're all in this together, guys. But I'm rooting for you.